Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome you out to Clement Kern Gardens today on this lovely afternoon. My name is Mike Essien. I'm the Vice President of American Community Developers. And on behalf of the President and founder of our company, Jerry Kruger, and the whole ACD team, I'd just like to say welcome and thanks for joining us today. And also welcome to our very dignified guests. We're honored to have you, and we're happy to welcome you to our hometown. A little bit about American Community Developers. We are a leading provider of affordable housing, not just here in the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan, but nationally. And this is something that's very near and dear to our hearts. We are primarily focused on the preservation of affordable housing and also, incorporating opportunities for mixed income housing developments. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about here today at Clement Kern. The site, Clement Kern Gardens, where we are, is 87 units of 100% affordable housing. And really the vision for the redevelopment of this site started a little more than 2 years ago, and in close coordination with the city of Detroit, the residents of the surrounding area, and then also with the residents here at Clement Kern, and a lot of hard work. We came up with a housing plan that we could submit to the Department of HUD and try to get an award of a grant to help preserve not only the households that are here, but also to add more housing to this area that is seeing some rapid redevelopment with the investments from Ford Motor Company and just the market rate investments that's happening in the community. And so, as I mentioned, over the course of the last 18 months or so, we've worked with residents, some of whom are here. Torian Thomas has been a big supporter who's been a part of this from the very beginning. We came up with this plan to create more than 800 new units of housing. About half of those will be set aside as affordable. And the income range really starts at the very the low end and goes all the way up to market rate. And it's a strategy that we think will be successful, and we're happy to see a lot of the folks who helped make this happen here today. I'd like to acknowledge the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. Chad and Jennifer are here today, and thank them for their support. We could not have be able to do any of this without being able to receive funding. We also want to acknowledge Mayor Duggan and his staff, including Julie Schneider, who's here, and her team over at the Housing Revitalization Department, Rebecca, who's over there. Hi, Rebecca. Really, this partnership is unique because we always like to get involved with the community and have residents be part of any redevelopment that we do. But this was really 18 months or 2 years of planning, getting input, and almost monthly meetings and getting feedback, and putting together a really community-driven housing plan and strategy. And so I'm just really honored to have all the guests here today. I would like to now introduce the Deputy Mayor, who has a few words to say.
Thanks. I'm Conrad Mallett. I'm here on behalf of my colleagues at the Detroit City Council and my boss, Michael Duggan. First of all, let me also acknowledge my city colleagues, Katie, and all the rest of the people, Judy Snyder. Donald Rincher, Madam Secretary, Congresspersons, is not here. He's at home on maternity leave or paternity leave. He's at home with his wife and baby for the next 30 days. So good for Donald. I was commenting to Secretary Fudge earlier. I've been doing this a long time. The last major contribution that I made when I was with Coleman Young was helping locate this particular development. And the relationship between Coleman Young and Father Kern was really, really, really important and personal and very, very dear on both of their parts. I would come over here, Madam Secretary and Congresspersons, when Father Kern at Holy Trinity, all that they were doing was Friday night fish fries. And the Irish politicians and the black politicians and the union leadership would show up over there. I would go with the old man, and you'd buy beer, you'd eat the fried fish. And what Father Kern did was use the money that got contributed to take care of the flock in the neighborhood which didn't look anything like this. This was, back in the day, a poor, very distressed neighborhood. And part of what Father Kern wanted to have happen with this development was the stabilization of the entire neighborhood. And that was the goal. Back in the day, when this got built, this was a very, very, very forward-looking development. The amenities that got placed therein were at the high end in terms of both their quality and the presence of dishwashers, washer and dryer, those kinds of things, Madam Secretary. This was a really important first for the city of Detroit that also went a long way toward realizing for the mayor and for the Detroit City Council the thing that we've been able to carry forward in this town, and that is a mixed-use development. The idea that what you would do is not have projects, but to have mixed-use developments where people of all incomes, races, ethnicities, and backgrounds would be in a true melting pot. And a neighborhood like Corktown is absolutely a neighborhood that would welcome the opportunity to further what we've been able to accomplish with our friends from MISTA, but more importantly from HUD, who gave us the Community Choice Award. And as Mike indicated, something that Donald Rencher, Julie Schneider, Katie Trudeau worked on for 2 years along with residents in this particular neighborhood. So we're excited. We're excited about the community development. We're excited about the new housing. We're excited about the opportunity to continue to provide affordable housing as Detroit struggles. And we do struggle, Madam Secretary. We're still one of the largest, poorest big cities in America. And we don't hide from that. We're not embarrassed by that. We are who we are. We're an 85 to 90% black city, 40% of whom live below the poverty line. And we are responsible for that, but we're not overwhelmed by that. We are energized by the opportunity that we have with the ARP, the American Rescue Plan dollars, with this city council. We have already framed out, Madam Secretary, how that money is going to be spent. We got 15 broad categories that have already gone through the legislative process and been approved. The contracts associated with those broad categories will come back to City Council for confirmation. We are further along, Madam Secretary, than most big cities of our size and consequence. Speaks volume to the relationship that the mayor has with City Council. We are now working with the Michigan legislature to, in fact, have them be aware of the investments that we're prepared to make, and hopefully with the $6.5 billion that the state of Michigan got, and thank you, Congresswoman Tlaib, thank you, Congresswoman Lawrence, we hope to have the state of Michigan assist us through the process. So really, where we are today, what we hope to do is use this as a roadmap as we go forward. We're doing a planning study now, and Julie Schneider is here to keep me honest in terms of calling these things out correctly. But we've got a planning study, Julie. Right now they were doing the North End. So this is going to be a process that will allow us to create the rebirth of a community on the north end of the city of Detroit. A place, quite frankly, where Aretha Franklin, Congresswoman Lawrence and I just left the dedication of a post office for Aretha Franklin, near where she grew up, near where Smokey Robinson grew up. I'm talking about Belmont and John R. So this is going to be emblematic of the next thing that we're going to be doing. The neighborhoods, as the mayor has said, since he got elected, every neighborhood in the city of Detroit has a future. And it's going to be a productive one. It is going to be a mixed-use one. It is going to be a fair and equitable future. It is going to be an inclusionary future. And this development here, I believe, is emblematic of both the state government's and the municipal government's commitment to not losing the character of the neighborhoods where these developments are caused to be born, but more importantly, where we do not lose the traditions of the neighborhood that we go in. Corktown is a place unto itself. And this particular development is going to respect that. As Mike indicated, we're going to get Father Kern out of prison and relocate his statue more appropriately. This is something that I know that Jerry Kavanaugh, the first progressive mayor of the city of Detroit, going all the way back to the 1960s, would be very, very proud of where we are today and, frankly, where we're going to go. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, one of the persons who is responsible for being sure that we are here today is Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. Come on up, Chief.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Congresswoman Lawrence's amazing partnership, and we are in her beautiful 14th district. I represented this wonderful, beautiful, vibrant neighborhood for 6 years in the State House. I've heard from so many neighbors, especially here in Kearns, they don't want to be treated as a separate island to Corktown. I know how it feels. I've heard all of your pain when you say we should be integrated in part of the whole Corktown. We shouldn't be treated as if we're separate. And I've heard you over and over in years in doing that. But I'm so excited, Secretary Fudge, because this federal grant shows that HUD is extremely serious in preserving and building affordable housing for our Black and brown neighbors. And I know that you will do it and make sure that the HUD resources are done in a way that holds developers accountable to our residents, the public, our fellow neighbors who demand that our government is about people. As many of you know, Michigan and Detroit are facing affordable housing crisis. Michigan has lost more Black home ownership than any other state in the country. And Detroit has thousands of affordable rental units at risk of expiring right now. Add in the unaffordable utility bills, high rates of and underemployment, and many Detroiters are struggling to stay in safe and comfortable homes. And I'm so incredibly proud to have partnered up with Secretary Fudge, who supported the $7.5 billion additional money in the reconciliation, what we call the Build Back Better plan, that would allow that money to be used to do home repair. Hopefully, we're going to work on tax foreclosure. It's a huge issue. As you all know, $600 million in overassessment of property taxes of Detroit homeowners in our city. And all of that needs to be addressed, and I know we can get a partnership in the federal government on this. I know the revitalization of Father Clement Kern Gardens is a big opportunity to create more affordable housing in our neighborhoods that will be squeezed, as you all know, and we've heard the term over and over again, by gentrification as the Ford campus development continues. It is so critical that we help long-term residents stay here and benefit from this revitalization. I know Congresswoman Lawrence and I feel the same. We want to see development, but we want to see development that cares and loves its neighbors that have been here a long time. More than 35 years ago, as you all know, community residents came together to help build these apartments for our low-income neighbors. They named these apartments after Father Kern. One of my staff people, Mary Turner, who's been with me forever, says if it wasn't for Father Kern, she would have never been able to come to this country and be able to have a better life. And she always did refer to him in such a loving way. We also called him the labor priest, as you all know, and who always extended a helping hand to the poor and those that were the most vulnerable. These apartments are part of that rich history, and we need to preserve them. As we realize the potential of hundreds of new units of affordable housing, let's make sure that it is affordable and our definition of what is affordable. These folks should be engaged, all of our residents, in a step of this process, helping to design the community they want to live in. They deserve real, meaningful consultation and input. They deserve honesty, transparency. They deserve to be partners in this project. It is our tax dollars being used to this project, and that's real partnership, is having you all really have a real seat at the table. I am again so incredibly thankful for HUD for stepping up to preserve and expand affordable housing in Corktown. We could not risk losing these units to market rate developers. We have a chance to ensure that there is a future for everyone in our neighborhood here in Corktown, and I look forward to working together with our partners from the city and HUD to make this a reality. And you all know you can come to me when no one is doing what they're supposed to be doing. So thank you all so much. Thank you. And I'm supposed to introduce Representative Lawrence, who just got one of our postal offices named after Aretha Franklin. But you all know her. She came from working as a postal worker so many years as labor organizer, but as somebody that has been a mayor, understands the local accountability and transparency, and again, understands the importance of making sure that this development is for all of us, not just some. Thank you so much.
I want to thank Rep. Tlaib and to recognize our amazing Deputy Mayor, who is just a legend in his own right. And it's just an honor for me to be here today to share this podium with not only a former colleague, but a soror and just an amazing leader in her own right. I have to get used to saying Secretary Fudge. So I'm Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, and everyone like my colleague Rashida Tlaib have said that we're in the 14th district, and it's an exciting day. You know, in my days as a mayor, days where you cut ribbons and do groundbreakings and reveal plans for development is one of those days that you just feel the heartbeat of the city getting stronger and stronger. And what we're doing here in the vision is to take what we have, invest and make it better, and make sure that we have a greater footprint of the impact of our tax dollars when it comes to HUD and building affordable housing. I can't think of a more deserving neighborhood than Corktown. You are such a unique, beautiful community. It's one I'm very proud of. The $30 million grant will provide more housing for families, increase the quality of life, and create opportunities for 100 of Detroiters. When I was having the conversation inside with the secretary and with the representatives that are here, wraparound services for the community. You cannot just create housing and walk away. A visionary development and those who really understand building communities means that I will have grocery stores, I'll have health care, I'll have child care centers. I will be able to live and to grow in my community. And so the opportunities for entrepreneurship, for those who want to open those businesses in this community, should not be locked out to just other people. It should include the community. And so one of the things that I and the secretary both believe in is that we build from within. So this community is rich with resources, and we want to turn that into economic success for all. Once completed, the gardens will have over 800 units of mixed income housing. But it doesn't stop there. We're going to build up the public spaces, green infrastructure. As a mayor, whenever someone wanted to develop an area for multi housing, we always look for the green space. No one wants to live in a cement complex. You want to be able to come out like these trees and breathe and make sure the green infrastructure is incorporated. And a community empowerment center. I love that. It's not a community center, a community empowerment center. When it's used the right way, the community can come in and get resources. There's deliberate resources put into the community centers that would empower the community. So when we're moving forward and you have an idea for your small business, or you have one, and you're in this development, you should be able to have some type of outreach from your empowerment center. How can I open up doors here? How can I make sure that I am providing services in a community that I will be living in? It's comprehensive investment in public spaces with social services tied to it. We are going to transform the lives of people who call Corktown and Detroit home. As a vice chair of the Appropriations Committee, I want you to know that I'm very, very, very much aware and sensitive to where does our tax dollars go. Marcia Fudge, who's our Secretary of HUD, has a tremendous responsibility. Just think of the Build Back Better Act. Think about when we invested money in the rescue plan, and now when we're doing the choice communities. That's her responsibility. She not only has a responsibility for comprehensive housing, she has a big chunk of money to manage. And so I am so excited we got the right person in the job. As we work through this pandemic, understand, I know we're outside today because we recognize we are still in a pandemic, that we will work together. Rashida Tlaib and I were on the floor fighting right now for the Build Back Better. We're fighting right now not just for a bill, but for the comprehensive services that will bring this country, including the city of Detroit, back to that strong heartbeat. We've been hanging on by the tip of our fingernails through this pandemic. And thank God we're all here. We made it through. But we now have an opportunity to build better, to raise our voices, kick and scream and get this thing done. I will not stop fighting for the 14th district. I will not stop fighting for Detroit in this country. I want to say thank you. And at this time, I want to bring forth a woman who also was a mayor. And there's something unique when you become a mayor, is that everyone in that community, and as the deputy mayor knows, knocks on your door because you are held responsible. And Congress is a little different, but when you serve as a mayor, and she was a judge, and she was a congresswoman, she was the president of Delta Sigma Theta. This woman is amazing. I love her personally as a person, and I'm so proud to present to some and to others, introduce the amazing Secretary of HUD, Marsha Fudge.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, y'all got it. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here today. I want to thank my colleagues, my friends, Brenda Lawrence and Rashida Tlaib, the Vice Mayor, and I want to thank all of you. I need you to know two things, and I'm going to say it very, very quickly. $30 million changes lives.
Amen.
$30 million. And so you know what I want? I want you to get what you want. We represent you, the taxpayers. We want to be sure that you're involved in this process, that whatever they bring forth is something that you approve of. And if it's not, you call and let us know, because we still have a little bit of influence. So just make sure, because it is important. We are at a tipping point in this country's history. This may be our last best chance to make historic and generational change in communities that have been left out for a very long time. This is our last best chance to be sure that people who live in our communities also work to build our communities. So I'm putting the challenge out now that people who live here should be able to work on these projects. People who live here should have some decision about whether they want to have a library or they want to have a grocery store. This is our opportunity. He promised me that he is working with all of the residents. So he's listening to what you're saying, so make sure that you don't come back after all the decisions are made. Let me just say to you, and I'm actually going to take my seat. I think you've heard quite a bit of talking today, but I sometimes sit and wonder what we need to do at this time to change the course of the lives of the people in this country, to change the course of history. We right now have an opportunity with an administration and people in an administration and the people that are sitting here to make change. If we fail to do it now, we may never have this chance again, ever. And so I just want to say that as a nation, we need to check ourselves and determine what is really important to us. There was a French historian, Alexis de Tocqueville, who came to this country more than 200 years ago to try to determine what made America great. He went to our institutions of higher learning. He went to the Rocky Mountains. He went to the oceans. He could not figure out what made America great until one day he walked into our houses of worship. And he decided that America was great because Americans are good. And if Americans ever cease to be good, America will cease to be great. And so we have to find the goodness in who we are. We have to be able to stand up and say what is wrong and fix what is wrong. It is our time. And it is a new day. It is a new day at HUD. It is a new day in this country. I guarantee you it is a new day at HUD. We have already now made it clear that we're going to invest in our people, and that is what I'm here to do today. But as well to say to you that you may be in a position maybe to buy your own home. If you're locked up with student debt, we can fix that. If you are looking for a property and maybe just don't have the down payment, we can assist you. We're going to make sure that racism is blown up in this whole system. We're going to make sure that you are treated fairly. And so know that it's a new day at HUD, and it is a new day in America. I want to thank you all for being out here because it says that you care. But I also want to say that all of us have to care. All of us have to care about where we live, what we do, and we all have to care about one another. So I thank you for being here. I'm going to come back when this project is done, and don't let me not be happy when I come back. Thank you.